Welcome back to Roby One's channel. This is part 2 of the Warren, Massachusetts Early Elites, and I'm right here in the history book right now as we speak. And here's Hotel Ramsdell, which is now the Masonic Lodge. And his circle of elites own that house next to a side of it that has the mansard roof. Now right here, me in my opinion, I'm wondering who truly built this, because this says that he built it. It says built 1886 by William Bach of Ramsdell, dedicated to his son Homer. The ground floor housed a grocery store, lounge, and Warren Savings Bank. The top 2 stories were moved in 1941 after Obartug's Grocery suffered a fire upstairs. And these people were great at architecture and everything else and setting up everything, but they were not good at keeping things from not being under a fire. This doesn't make any sense, and I believe it's the circle of elites that created these fires so they could create the fire station, and all the lawyers and the whole circle of them could benefit from the whole persuasion and manipulation of society. Here's William Bach of Ramsdell, 1825 to 1905. Was a foreman and civil engineer for 30 years. In 1864, he switched careers, moved his family to the center village, and began to manufacture boots and shoes on Maple Street, building of Warren Savings Bank, serving as vice president, tax collector, and treasurer. It shows you how they were all together. And here's another picture of it right there. See right there? That's the door to the Masonic Lodge today, and there's that mansard next to it. And then if we digress for a second, let's just go back. That's the other house that Ramsdell owned as well. Let's go further back. Let's go all the way back. Now this house right here, it says in this little article, and to the left of that, a few more over, would be where the Masonic Lodge is today. It says in 1858, the second floor building functioned as a meeting room known as Union Hall. At the dance held there in 1858, the floor collapsed, causing a death by heart attack of one person and injuring several others. In 1880, the building was moved backward. Alright, I'll show you something that's in 1858 that could have been a celebration. Is this? Could that be the dance that they were celebrating for the Masonic Lodge? And look at the dates. March 22nd, 1858. Proceedings instituted March 22nd, 1859. That's 322. That's the Skull and Bones number. And then it says regular communication for first Tuesday each month, September through June. And I believe this Masonic Lodge goes way earlier than 1858. Obviously, it says proceedings. But I'm going to go into the dictionary quick because I looked up proceedings too. And look what it says right here. Proceedings. The act or fact of proceeding, consideration based on order of importance, priority. And then other words that are kind of linked to that. Precedent, prior in time, order, or significance. And precedent, something said or done that may serve to authorize or justify further words or acts of the same or similar kind. So that's something that's not put in a history book and food for thought. And also considering the town where Molly Bish was abducted from. Not to rain on anyone's parade by saying that, but it's something that has to be said. And I'm going to go into different parts of this book at this point. There's another look at where the Great Fire was, the Ramsdell building on the left. And Fairbank's son donated this to the town hall, telling you that they're the ones who structured the town. The town needed their money. Okay, let's go further into this book. There's the library. One of the first handlers, Nathan Richardson. I believe this could have been a Masonic Lodge at one point too. The owl's one of their symbols. Alright. Well, this is an interesting man, John Moore. one of the early elites, and I'm only going to handle a few of them because you could do a documentary on this book for 3 hours. And I want to get into the church handlers, the bank handlers, the town hall handlers, all the things that have Masonic architecture. Reverend John Harvey Moore left, whatever this BCA 1820, came to Warren from Hartford, Connecticut. He was the third pastor in Second Universalist Church, which was organized in 1825. He served from 1844 to 1849, and again 1862, 1874. The church was built in 1837 on land donated by John Moore. So this pastor had enough money to donate land. And in here they show a picture of the turret that used to be on St. Paul's Church that supposedly got hit by lightning. That's the story behind that. Some old lithographs of those churches that he spoke of, the Universalist Church, the Gothic or occultic church that I see today, the Congregational Church, and it's too bad they didn't give you a close-up of that. Alright, we're going to go further into all the markers that I've put in here. Alright, so let's look into this. This was pretty specific, I noticed right here. This the house that he owns, and it says it's on Bacon Street. It doesn't give the number, Mansard, Victorian, Romanesque, Greek Revival, whatever you're going to call that. Herman R. Walker, 1907 to 1984, purchased the property and operated the Walker Funeral Home there for 37 years. He was an active member of the Warren Federated Church, the Quabog Lodge of Masons, and successful, much respected businessman. And now, not only did I speculate that they were the foundation of all these things, I'm proving it. No more is this theory, this is fact. And I'm going to link more of these people together due to the fact that the lodges, the graveyards show some of the largest symbols on them. Alright. Oh, the steam pump company. There was a steam pump company with a bunch of elitists organized in 1897, and it's right after all the Masonic Lodge. It gives you the whole list of men, all right here. These are all going to be checked out at the graveyard to see if any of their graves have Masonic value. That's the reason I got into this whole thing. Alright, what's this? Oh, this was the home of Gershom Makepeace, one of the early settlers that came here with Solomon Keys and a couple other cats that I mentioned earlier. There's his house. They're the ones who put the pine logs down and supposedly created the first dam, which is very speculative. This is an interesting write-up too. This Danforth Keys, the son of another Danforth. And it says right here, this is the Keys Homestead. I don't know if that tree's there today. The Keys Homestead was built in 1740 at the corner of Washington and East Streets by Captain Solomon Keys. He was 1701 to 1755. His lifespan, this Washington elm provided shade to General Washington while he visited his personal friend Danforth Keys, 1740 to 1826, son of Captain Solomon Keys. And then this is his grandson, because he is 1806 to 1897. And then he married Eliza Lincoln, who was over here. And more fun facts of the day. Eliza Lincoln Keys, 1823 to 1909, daughter of Warren and Dolly Lincoln, the 7th generation of Lincolns in America since 1686, and 3rd generation of Lincolns in Warren, was descended from a family of prominent citizens. Eliza married Danforth Keys in 1843. Descended from a family of prominent citizens. Yeah, the Freemasons. They all married within each other. Now, this guy caught my eye because he looked rather debonair. He looked a very likable guy. It doesn't say he's a Mason, but I believe this guy is, just by his write-up. John W. Chadsey. Oh, Chadsey, I presume. 1831 to 1896, was very active town and state politics in community improvement organizations and congressional church. He was instrumental in the founding of Warren Savings Bank and the first president from 1882 to 1896. His favorite avocation was the Warren Public Library, to which he contributed substantially and served as a president 1895 to 96. He was generous to the building fund. He furnished Library Hall and gave many other furnishings still in use. He paid for the installation of the electricity. There's no doubt in my mind that guy's a Freemason. I'll bet my life on it. Nathan Reed, this guy's interesting too. 1759 to 1849, above the son of Major Reuben, a 1775 Minutemen. And Tamison M. Reed, a graduate of Harvard, and was elected as Congress in 1800 1803. Later became Chief Justice of the Court in Maine. He was mechanically clever, and it says he created a machine that cut the head off of nails, adapted steam power navigation. He was the first to invent and construct the locomotive engine or steam engine. In 1789, he invented a prototype steamboat 18 years before Fulton's. And Fulton must be the one who they gave credit to. So we'll go a little further up in the book, because you're not getting the whole book unless you go and get it yourself. This is hard to get your hands on. This Penfield character was interesting. He was the first photographer, and most of the pictures in this book are from him, I believe. He was involved with the Masons. All right. This one was interesting. Dr. Nelson Carpenter, 1801-1872, the beloved physician, according to his tombstone, enjoyed a very successful practice from 1827 to his death. He owned many houses on Carpenter Street and Southbridge Street neighborhood. He was active in civic affairs and served as representative to the state legislature, a forward thinker. In 1845, he purchased the State Mutual Life Assurance Company First Policy. Look at this, the history that comes out of these towns is just great. I found this woman interesting. She almost looks like she could be a witch. I wonder if she's Order of the Eastern Star. It's just a prediction, I could be wrong. Eliza Jocelyn. And it says she has 4 kids, and one of them died less than 2 years old. He married this Joseph Field. She married the Joseph Field, but then he ended up marrying someone else and moving to St. Louis. Cool little story. A little further on in the book, I thought this was interesting. One of the first lady handlers of the first library in West Warren, Rose T. Feniff. Pretty girl. She looks like she needs a little hair makeover though. This was interesting because the cemetery, which is upside down in the book printed, is a cemetery where Molly Bish was abducted. Page 112. Was that a prediction that one day this would be flipped upside down, this town? Just a little quick segment on that. And here's Cummins Pond, which is named after Issachar Cummins. And I wonder if there was an 83 in there, and he died in 1883. 100 years later, Molly was born. That's the pond that she was abducted at. Bless little Molly. Here's another picture of Reed down there, but we're going to end it with this. Erasmus, is that it? Erasmus F. Strickland, 1826 to 1890, came to Warren in 1861 and trained machinist and took charge of the Knowles Steam Pump Works. He married Anna C. Sawyer, with whom he had 5 children, held prominent offices in church, Quabog Lodge of Masons, and political town committees. He was also chief of the fire department and director of Warren Public Library. See that circle that controls that all? And just like the fires in Southbridge, the fires in Warren are involved with Masons. I'm going to end it on that. That's on page 131. I thank the library in Warren for letting me have this book for a while, and I also thank the library in Sturbridge for getting it. Rule be one. Have a nice day.